Hello, 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 ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the I've lost count of which episode this is. I'm back with the Googly podcast. Shash has unfortunately quit on us. We just had to break the bat. No, I'm just joking. He's just busy tonight, and I was way too short on notice to see if he was down to record because I just had an idea. Congratulations to India on winning the World Cup, by the way. I totally wasn't fucking sobbing after they won. Manav, if you're watching this, I'll remember you're the only person that called me. And fuck you to Shash and Raj for starting a fight in the middle of the World Cup. Pissed me the fuck off. Anyway, India versus Bangladesh. There's a few things to talk about. Let's get on with this episode, guys. I've been reading a few things. Some people are saying it's going to be a spin-heavy game, and that's a rhetoric I'm seeing on a few places online. I don't think so. If we look at, and congratulations to Bangladesh, by the way, for bashing Pakistan. Thank you from all of the subcontinent. And by subcontinent, I mean India. Anyway, I think it's going to be a game of pace, realistically. The rhetoric online says spin. Spin just isn't something I see really that's coming in on too early. It's probably going to come in sort of late session 3, early session 4, maybe even, very late session 2, last 10 overs of session 2. And we play spin all of that day. Realistically, Chennai pitch is supposed to be a red soil pitch that sort of supports that pace bowling and that spin. And I think India's got some very good pace and spin lined up. But I think especially even for Bangladesh, they're going to focus on their spin. They've got, their pace. They've got some very good paces in that team at the moment. I think Bangladesh also needs to watch out for pace because that's what I think India's going to target. If you look at the game against Pakistan, either or in the first innings of the second game, especially, all of Bangladesh's wickets came from, I think all of the wickets but 2 came from pace bowling. So I think they sort of are going to lean into that, and I think India's also going to really press into that. Psychologically, I think Bangladesh has more to do. They need more to win. They sort of need to prove that the game against Pakistan wasn't a fluke, that they actually are a team that they've been practicing and they're, here to compete, not just to sort of be there and, I don't think this Bangladesh team wants to be just, a donation of 2 points for the World Test Championship cycle. Historically, that's what they have been in sort of all forms of the cricket. Even the actual World Cup for T20, that's sort of what the Afghanistan and Bangladesh match became. When we're seeing here, I think they're really going to want to prove that the Pakistan game was on their merit, not just because Pakistan is a dog shit cricket team. I was reading a statistic the other day that there's been 1,000 it's been 1,000, close to 1,000 days since Pakistan actually won a test match. I'd say players to look out for. I think before that, there needs to be sort of a conversation about which players are going to play. I think Jaiswal will make it into the team. I think him and Rohit are going to be opening. Jaiswal, I think they're going to sort of try and really target in the second innings especially, sort of see if he can take the spin away like he did for England. I think we're going to see some big runs from him, especially in the second and the latter half of the game. And, Chennai especially but it can be a really great spin bowling pitch because the ball starts just to grip on that little bit more. I think Bangladesh is also going to take advantage of the fact that Chennai probably is one of the venues in India that sort of aligns most with their home conditions. I think players to watch out for, especially in Bangladesh's side, Nahid Rana looks really good. He looks really interesting to watch, and I think he's just bowling really well at the moment. Hassan Mahmood also has been shown to do damage. We saw that in the games against Pakistan. Experienced campaigners like Miraz could also do well, and Litan Das also most likely is going to do well. Bangladesh's main issue is their top order. Their top order always needs to always seems to never perform when they need to. It's usually from sort of 5th down is when they start to pile the runs on. Someone has to always save Bangladesh, and I think they need to sort of work as a well-oiled unit, which historically I think they are not very good at doing. So let's see if they can actually change their game this time around. And that's exactly what we saw in the T20 World Cup as well. I don't know what it is with Bangladesh's psychology, but once the games, it's sort of difficult to them. They just sort of give up. Liton Das was, the lone warrior against that Afghanistan match. And if, one or two good innings, and I'm not saying, complete masterclasses, one or two just decent T20 innings, most likely would have gotten Bangladesh, for example, over the line in that T20 game. So I think Bangladesh really needs to watch out for their psychology. And I think if they can do that, it's going to be a really interesting game. When looking at India's side, I'd say India are the favorites, especially the fact that they're at home, but also because of the talent that they have shown, especially with Bumrah, with the red ball. I think it's going to be a really interesting contest to see who gets picked over Pant and Jurel. I see Pant getting picked over. I just don't see him not getting picked after the wicket-keeping performance he did in the World Cup. I think Sarfaraz makes the squad over KL, but I think that's really also going to depend on what pitch conditions we see tomorrow for the game. If, the squad is... If the squad requires experience, I think KL's going to take it, but I think it's also going to be a matter of who's sort of how the pitch looks, and I think the amount of grass on the pitch tomorrow is sort of going to determine if KL's playing or if Sarfaraz takes it. But I do think Sarfaraz should make the squad regardless, just because of how well he did play in the previous games against England. Kohli, I think, will do well, of course. From what I've seen so far, the team psychology looks quite healthy. I want to see how sort of the established players play under the new Gautam Gambhir leadership. There was some, discourse around them not being, especially, there was some rumors that, maybe Kohli and Gautam Gambhir won't get along, but that seems to have been squashed in recent times, especially since they just released that video, and I think one's coming out with Rohit Sharma as well. Regardless, I think it's going to be a very, very interesting game, and I really want to see sort of what goes on tomorrow. My predictions are sort of big runs from Kohli. I think Jaiswal's going to do well. I think Bumrah's really going to clean up tomorrow. I can see maybe Ashdeep doing well. Maybe Yash Dayal is also in there with the left-hander bowling performance. But I really see India's batting also doing quite well tomorrow. Kohli did not have the best T20 tournament. Of course, he picked it up towards the end, but I think he's also looking for some runs. Bangladesh, I really want to see Liton Das do well. I want to see Shantu do well. He hasn't had the best of test matches recently, and I think he could really do well with some runs on his scoreboard. But I think if Bangladesh's top order can do well, I think it's going to be a really interesting game, because I think that's when the balance of the game shifts a little bit more. So let's see. It's going to be an interesting day one tomorrow. Stay tuned. Shash, get the fuck on online next time, even if it's late notice. Bye guys, clocking out.